On tonight's show, we're taking you on the Ovation of the Seas with Mark Kinchley from Royal Caribbean Line. I'll be taking you to Adelaide in the Barossa Valley, where I've been last week tasting wine and eating lots of food. And we'll farewell a Queen of the Skies, a Boeing 747. Welcome to Bon Voyage TV. I'm Jared Murphy from Bon Voyage Cruises and Travel, and I'm joined as usual by Olivia Van Leerop.
Hiya.
How are you?
Good, good. And how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Yes. Now, you've been tripping around to glorious places again.
Yes, well, I have to say, after a long time in the travel industry, this trip amounted pretty much to a junket.
Yeah.
And Air New Zealand took me as a part of a group to South Australia, to Adelaide, on the first 787 flight to go to Adelaide.
Oh,
so
wow.
it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And we had all sorts of people like the Minister, South Australian Minister of Tourism, and one of the senior people from Air New Zealand, and all sorts of people on the plane.
Oh, awesome.
But more importantly, we had a big wine tasting on the plane.
Oh my goodness, I'm so jealous.
They called it the Salvador flight,
Yeah.
and Penfolds winemakers were on board, and one of the head sommeliers was on board introducing the wine.
Wow.
And we started at 7 a.m. with a Chardonnay or a bubbly at the airport gate,
Yeah.
and then progressed as the flight went on and had a Chardonnay and then two reds, and finished with a Penfolds Grange, which
Oh, beautiful.
$700 or $800 a bottle. So
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so special.
we got more than one glass.
How large was this flight, sorry?
Boeing 787, which
Yeah.
is 300 odd people. So
Oh, okay, so still quite a large plane.
everyone got them, but one of the school groups, there's an intermediate school, I don't think they got the wine, but they got a little goodie bag.
Oh, sounds amazing. So by the time you got to the other end, were you already a little bit
No,
happy?
not at all, not at all. But we quickly went to the hotel, and we were accommodated a lovely restored hotel called the Mayfair, which was overtaken an old insurance office block and been completely fitted out as a new hotel.
Oh, cool.
Beautiful. Straight to a lunch, and then followed by a tour of the Penfolds McGill Estate Winery,
Oh, wow.
which is only 8 kilometres from the centre of the city. So it used to be in the country when they built it in 1850 or 1860.
Wow.
And that was just, it was very special. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. So we had a wonderful tour there through all the, what used to be the champagne tunnels
Oh,
and things.
cool.
And a tour of their winery, and finished with a degustation dinner.
Oh my gosh, it sounds glorious.
And it's not often I can admit to being full, but I was full that night.
Pretty chocker.
And we had a beautiful sunset over the city. It was just
Yeah.
marvellous.
Oh, stunning. And Penfolds is one of the top, was it one of the top Australian
Yes.
wines? Yeah, be up there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh.
So that wasn't all. The next day we did it all over again.
Yeah.
We went out to, we'd been out to McLaren Vale on the first day, and went to a place called Ehrenburg Wines. And this is special because, again, it's a very old company. It's one of the sons of the original founders still there. He's 93 and still working. And his son, Chester Osborne, is slightly eccentric. He's
Oh,
about
yeah.
my age.
Yeah.
But he is into wine art and
Ah.
all sorts of collectibles, and you go to his vineyard and there's all sorts of old tractors and everything stored away there.
Oh,
But you
very
can't
cool.
miss his latest creation, which is called the Wine Cube. And it's this huge building built like a Rubik's Cube.
Oh, wow.
As you can see, it's actually bigger in the flesh than it looks, but it's 5 stories, and they're
Yeah.
going to have wine tasting and wine blending on the top level, so you can blend your own wines,
Ah, awesome.
and you get to take it home.
Yeah.
Wine Experience is a beautiful restaurant on one of the other levels, so you can have a very modern, hip restaurant in this wine cube, and in the old building, which is one of the original homesteads, they're going to have a very traditional wine restaurant, so they're going to cover both.
They're going to have it all, yeah.
And down the bottom it's going to be a wine art museum and a full interactive digital wine experience. So the Ehrenburg Wines is going to be one of the places to go.
Yeah, that's one of my husband's favourite wines actually, the Ehrenburg.
Well, he's on to a
there
good
you go,
thing.
yeah.
But day 2 was very special because we had 2 degustations. We had one for lunch at a winery called St Hugo, which is the upmarket brand of Jacobs Creek, and they've just built or restored an old building and built a whole new wine experience place. So that's the cellars and a wine tasting area. Again, you can do the wine blending. You can do a wine experience if you really want to, up to 150,000 Australian dollars.
Really?
Where you get to go there for 4 days and you're totally immersed in their winery. Wow. And you get to make your own wine, which is then bottled and sent to you progressively over 3 years so you can see how it's aging.
How vintage, yeah.
And at the end of the 3 years, they will send the winemaker over to you anywhere in the world. So New Zealand's just a bit close, but if you're in the Middle East or Japan or China, they'll send their winemaker and he will introduce the wine to you and your friends for up to 20 people, and that's all paid for as part of the deal. So.
Wow.
But
that's just amazing.
There are much better wine experiences right down to $100 or $200 where you can blend your own wine and do all the tasting.
Yeah.
And at St Hugo's they have a wine vault where all the special wine is stored away under fingerprint lock and key.
Yeah. And did you blend your own wine while you were there?
No, we
didn't.
We had been running late at one stage, so we had to skip the wine blending. So we just tasted a whole pile of other wines.
Oh, okay.
over the 2 days. 2.5 days, we tasted 35 wines.
Wow, amazing. And what was your favourite? What was your pick?
Ooh. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them are pretty good, but it was a fantastic experience. And I'd been a bit blasé about Barossa. I'd heard about it for years and years and years. Never got there. But just to be out there on the last morning, I went for a run and a walk around the area, and just to see the history. You know, things like the Seppelt family's private mausoleum at the top of a hill where their family's been buried for over 100 years.
Wow.
Just the history and everything around there, and just the peace and quiet on a Sunday morning walking around that area was just fantastic.
Just gorgeous. Oh.
So I can highly recommend South Australia, McLaren Vale in the Barossa Valley.
Yeah, sounds
it's
incredible.
Closer than you think. Air New Zealand now fly there 5 times a week in the summer. I think it's 4 times a week in the winter. And they're using 787s for quite a few of those flights over the summer. So it's only 4.5 odd hours.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Easy to get to.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Highly recommend it.
And I heard you went for a little run on Sunday, did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd said I'd been walking in Barossa on Sunday, but it was Saturday morning. I got back at 9 o'clock at night and then was at Devonport at 6:30 in the morning for the Auckland Marathon. I did the half marathon.
How did you go?
Slowly, but it was a lovely day.
Yeah.
No, 5 minutes faster than last year. But
that's awesome.
This was a training run for the Queenstown Marathon, which I'm doing on the 18th of November. So.
Cool.
We'll have a short break, and after the break we talk to Mark Kinchley of Royal Caribbean Cruises, an interview we recorded earlier.
Come seek Royal Caribbean.
We'd now like to welcome Mark Kinchley back into the studio, and as some of you long-term viewers will know, Mark represents Royal Caribbean Cruises in New Zealand, who also own Celebrity Cruises and Azamara. So welcome, Mark.
Nice to be back again, Jerry.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Last day of Plan a Cruise Month. How's it gone for you?
Exhausted. Yeah. It's a great concept. It's something that focuses the entire nation onto cruising. If you haven't seen an ad in a newspaper about a cruise, you haven't been reading newspapers or you haven't been looking on social media, because it's everywhere. And early indications are that cruise month has been a very good month again for us. However, saying that, it's not the only time that we have great offers for cruises. So, you know, if you haven't booked in cruise month, November's still going to be a great month to book a cruise.
And October also really signals the start of the New Zealand and Australian cruise season in terms of all the northern ships coming down.
Yep.
And you've got a few.
We have a few. We have, well, quite a lot this year, to be honest. Celebrity Solstice actually was the first ship to visit New Zealand a couple of weeks ago. She was on her Trans-Pacific cruise across from Alaska, and she made a call into Auckland for the day. She's back again next week. And then we have Radiance of the Seas, Voyage of the Seas, and Explorer of the Seas visiting this year. Of course, we have the wonderful Ovation of the Seas making her second visit to New Zealand, or second season in New Zealand. And then on top of that, we have our wonderful boutique ships. We have both Quest and Journey coming to New Zealand this year.
Well, I want to talk about a ship that's not coming to New Zealand, but there was a hint that we may get the second ship eventually in this new series of ships for Celebrity Cruise Lines. And this one's got a couple of innovations. It's the Celebrity Edge. It's going to have an interesting profile with it.
Yeah, so Edge launches next December in the Caribbean. She's very, very well sold. We have a couple of real innovations accommodation-wise. So we start off with the Infinite Veranda, which is a new concept of cruising. So a little bit, if you've been on a river cruise, you may have seen this before. Instead of having just a veranda with a glass balustrade that is at a certain height all the way through the cruise, all of the staterooms are operated from a tablet on Edge. You touch a button on the tablet and the veranda balustrade will rise to the top of the ceiling, giving you a completely glass encased area which can extend the size of your stateroom. On top of that, we've got our new Edge villas. There's 6 of these on Celebrity Edge. They are incredible staterooms over 2 stories, an upstairs living area and an upstairs sleeping area and downstairs living area that can convert into a second sleeping area, but a massive outdoor space.
With your own spa pool, I believe.
With your own spa plunge pool on your private deck. So there's 6 of those. And on top of that, then we have the Iconic Suite, which are 2 of those, which are the 2 largest suites at sea, 230 square metres of suite. Incredible stuff. Unfortunately, if you want to book them, you're going to have to wait until the next season because they're all sold out in the Caribbean. Yeah. Last week, we announced that Edge, after the Caribbean, is actually going to Europe, so they have only just gone on sale. So if you want an Edge villa or an Iconic Suite in Europe in 2019, you would have to book it very, very quickly because they will not last long.
Now, sometimes when these big ships come in to ports like Santorini or Monaco, where they can't actually get into the small, well, Santorini you can't, but Monaco you can't get into the port because they're too big. This ship's going to revolutionise this problem of getting people on and off the ship by tender boats. And they're doing something called a magic carpet. Now, you'll need to explain this.
Yes, hopefully you've got some footage to explain it because it does take a little bit of visual as well as an explanation. So basically what we did was we thought, well, we need to get our passengers in a much more comfortable way on and off the ship. So we designed this platform, cantilevered platform that's off the edge of the ship. And it works on hydraulic lifts. And it goes down to deck 2 when we need to use it for a tender in Monaco.
So basically this becomes a launching pontoon.
Yes, yeah.
With a difference because it's got sort of a lounge area as well, so you
Absolutely.
can be out there waiting for your tender boat.
So you sit and wait in comfort rather than standing in corridors or in stairways, which is fantastic stuff. And then you board your Edge launches, which are a new generation of tenders. Like nothing you've seen before, proper individual seating, they're not bench seating. Anybody who's been on a tender will know it's very much bench seating. This is individual seats.
So this would be more like a small ferry?
Yes, a small ferry in essence, yes. And great stuff. But when we're not operating that, obviously we need to do something with it. We can't leave it down on deck 2, so we raise it up through the ship. Now, we don't put people on there, and it's not fairground round. It doesn't go up and down like something around.
When I first heard about this, they said they were going to have an elevated dining area, and I thought, this is going to be fun. You get on deck 6 and off on deck 10, and you've had a few, and you can't find your cabin again.
It's not a revolving restaurant or anything like that at all. I hasten to add, I'm sure someone's had that thought. Basically what we do is we take it at certain times of the day, and during the day it'll be a bar around the pool area, and then it'll be an evening bar on an upper deck, and then right in the evening it rises right up above the ship, so you're above the entire ship, and it becomes a specialty restaurant called Dinner on the Edge, and you're sat there and all you can see are 360 degrees of ocean. And that's part of the philosophy behind Edge, is to connect our guests with the ocean more than we ever have before.
Speaking of special ships,
Very special.
I won't call it the elephant in the room, but it is big enough and causes the odd issue. This is Ovation of the Seas, which was new last year.
Yes.
And she's coming back and still not able to park at a wharf at Auckland.
Yeah, well, the great news for New Zealand is that Royal Caribbean have invested to bring this new ship back to New Zealand for a second season. It's very, very popular. It had an incredible first season. The people of New Zealand took the ship to their hearts. It was very, very, very touching to see thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people lining wharves and beaches just to see the ship and give it a welcome or a farewell. It was incredible, and everyone connected with the company, from myself to our managing director to Captain Henrik to every single crew member really appreciated what that meant to New Zealand, and appreciated that wonderful welcome that we experienced last year, and we hope to bring our ships here for as long as we possibly can.
So on the 22nd of December, and I think on the 2nd of January, and one other call later in the year, we'll find, well, you won't need to find it because it's pretty big.
No, you can't miss it.
They'll be anchored just off the Hilton.
Yes.
And tender boats into the...
Tender into Viaduct Events Centre, next to the Viaduct Events Centre. It's by far and away the best platform we can use. We can get anything up to 4 of our tenders along there. Now those tenders take fully max about 180 people, so we can get
moving people pretty quickly.
Moving people, and we've got 6 of those tenders running back and forward, back and forward.
Now, while we're on Ovation, because we've now boarded, probably not in Auckland because you have to.
No, that's a little bit difficult.
So we're talking about bars, and there's one very special bar or bar robots.
Yes. So Bionic Bar, the first on any cruise ship, first robotic facility, attraction, whatever you want to call it, on any cruise ship anywhere. And other cruise ships have followed suit with bar waiters, which look a bit like something out of a sci-fi movie. We've basically taken 2 robots from a car assembly plant and stuck them on a bar and linked them up to an incredible computer
taught them how to
program.
make drinks.
Taught them how to make drinks. And it's not just that that's unusual. The whole experience is really quite, it's quite bizarre, but also quite entertaining as well. Because these little robots do take on a personality of their own. You got to remember they can't speak, but they do have 2 big screens. So we have a screen either side of the bar, and you're watching for where your drink, where in the process your drink is, whether you're going to be next drink served and all that sort of stuff. And in there are comments from the robots, and the robots are speaking to you and asking the ladies, it might be Penny's ordered in a Long Island iced tea. And whilst Penny's waiting, hi Penny, I get off in 27,000 years' time, what are you up to? And it's great, it's a great bit of interaction. It's fantastic. Magnificent, great to watch. The cocktails are absolutely superb. They do happen to be the cheapest cocktails on board, believe it or not.
Now, coming back to Ovation, the other things that stand out to me is that ship has 18 dining venues.
Yes.
Give me choose 2 favourites out of those.
2 favourites?
We can't do all of them.
Okay. Obviously, there's a lot of complimentary dining on board. And the lead-in of that is always our Windjammer Cafe. It's on every single Royal Caribbean ship. The standard and the style of Windjammer on Ovation is exceptional. It really is. And what I love what they've done about it is they haven't just made it into this great big buffet restaurant where you wander in, you get a tray and you wander and find your seat. They've designed areas. So there are areas where there are high bar stools and tables where you can just pop in and have a coffee and a sandwich. And there's a bar in there. There never used to be a bar in Windjammers. And the whole style of it's cut into some more intimate areas. So instead of having one massive, great big buffet, you're in a small area that you choose. It could be, you know, outside, it could be by one of the windows, it could be on the bar stools, and then you have the incredible food that we serve. You know, and you can watch our bakers make bread in Windjammer. Yeah, and they're not just making bread rolls, they're making artisan breads and that sort of thing. So it's a different experience altogether, and that's fantastic. The other end of the scale is our specialty restaurants, which we have Chops Grill, etc. You know, Azumi, or Japanese restaurant, which are on several ships, and we on quantum class ships. We put Wonderland, which is a signature class ship, built around the adventures of Alice in Wonderland, and you walk in there and the waiters are all dressed like the Mad Hatter. Your menu is frame, silver frame, gilded frame, and you have a paintbrush and you start to paint on the frame. It's a blank canvas, and as you're painting, your menu appears. And the menu is based around the elements, so there's fire and there's ice and there's water, and there are a total of 26 courses. Now, not all of them are great big courses, some of them are bite-sized, but it's a degustation meal that will take you around about 2.5 hours to eat. And basically, it's as much about the theatre of cuisine as it is the meal. So it's an experience. Now, some people love it, and some people say, I just want to go and have a meal.
Too long.
And that's fine, that's fine. But it is very, very, very much a theatre. The dishes are designed very Heston Blumenthal, actually. You know, there's field mushrooms that are made out of strawberries and all this sort of stuff. There's one course that is salmon caviar on top of quail's eggs, and it's smoked, and it comes in its own smoking dome, and you pump the smoke in and let it smoke as long as it wants. Down in on Royal Caribbean, you know, there are anything from simple things like some of the best bacon and egg muffins you'll ever get, which is at Cafe 270 at the stern of Ovation next to the 270 Lounge. They're complimentary and they're great. To Wonderland, a Chops Grill, or Azumi, and everything else in between. Yeah. So great experience, fantastic.
So with 18 dining venues, you need a few. You don't want to be in port all the time because you're not going to get to experience them. So
Sure.
for our special of the week, I've chosen a cruise that sold really well for us last year, and this one goes from Sydney up to Singapore, and it's in March next year. March the 16th odd, and we will fly you to Sydney, have a night at the Swiss Hotel the Stamford, so that's right next to the cruise terminal, or virtually as close as you can get. A 14-night cruise which goes from Sydney to Brisbane, to Darwin, Kuala Lumpur and Singapore. So there's a few days at sea where you can experience those.
And that's where a ship like Ovation really does come into its own, because it's about what you can do on the ship. Now, this ship is so good, and you know, it's a big ship, but it will cater for every need. So if you want to sit and do the old traditional cruise ship experience of sitting with a rug over you on a deck chair reading a book in a nice quiet area, you can do that.
So there's a beautiful area at the front of the ship. Adults only.
Adults only.
With
wonderful
multi-level pools, and it's all enclosed in glass. You won't need a rug over your legs.
No, and very, 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 very relaxing. A great experience. There's a restaurant up there, the Solarium Grill, very nice. So you don't even have to move all day if you don't want to. However, if you're a little bit more active and you want some things to do, then you've just got a short walk of about 320 metres, and you can go skydiving, or surfing, or rock climbing, or play on the dodging cars, or play basketball, or fly on a trapeze. That's
maybe we need longer than 14 nights.
Well, you've got a lot of sea days there, and that's the important thing. Those things can be done on the sea days without a rush. Yeah, book yourself in. Certainly, things like the skydiving would have to be pre-booked, because there are only groups of 8, I think, at a time. And so most people want to have one go at it, so it's really good. But there are lots of activities. That's why sea days are important, and that's why choosing the right experience or the right ship that matches the experience that you want. You know, it's not good getting on a ship and doing an itinerary lap, so many sea days, and all they've got is a library.
Yeah.
If you're an active person. So you really got to make sure that the ship is right. Now, the advantage of a ship the size of Ovation is if all you want is a library, there's a library.
There is.
But if you want something more than that, there's more than enough to cater for you. And not only that, it's all complimentary. You don't pay for it at all.
Can't beat that.
Can't beat it.
Now, when we get you to Singapore, we'll give you 2 nights at the Swiss Hotel, the Stamford in Singapore. And all of this, so you've got 1 night in Sydney with Air New Zealand flight to Sydney, 14 nights Ovation cruise, 2 nights at the Swiss Hotel, the Stamford, and we will fly you back with Singapore Airlines to Auckland. That starts with an ocean view cabin from $4,499 and a deluxe balcony for $4,799.
What do we pay?
Pretty good deal.
It's a great deal. That's an incredible deal.
And if we talk nicely to Marky, we might be able to see if we can throw in a Wonderland dinner.
Ah, what are you asking for? I love it.
Well, Mark, we wish you a very full and bountiful 2017-2018 summer cruise season. And we may see you in April if you're still
well, hopefully I'm still breathing. It's always a great time of the year. You never know what you're going to be faced with. The great thing is that there is, in significant sales that we know there are, numerous amount of people come to New Zealand. So part of my job is to make sure that all of that operation works as well. But we haven't got to take our eye off the ball because we've got to sell 19 and we've got to sell 20. And if we can sell 19 and 20, going back to Solstice, there's a great cruise up to the South Pacific Islands in March 2019, first ever Auckland to Auckland cruise.
Auckland to Auckland, and we will be featuring that with some specials coming
And
up.
if we can get that filled quickly, then maybe we'll get more.
Keep watching Bon Voyage TV or go to our website bonvoyage.co.nz for all of those specials, all of those details. In the meantime, Mark, thank you very much for coming in.
Always a pleasure,
And all
Jared.
the best.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
Ed and Vivo, we've got the biggest crush on Graham Norton. So we flew all the way to his place so he could have a crush on us. Graham Norton's own Sauvignon Blanc. Southern Hemisphere grapes meet Northern Hemisphere fab.
And Mark did agree to the Wonderland dinner, didn't he, as he left?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did, yeah. And it'd be worth going on the cruise just for that experience. Sounds
Well,
incredible.
Degustation meals are all the rage
Yeah,
tonight.
you seem to be all about that at the moment, don't you?
Oh, it's a wonderful way to eat.
Oh, it is. It's the best way to eat.
You don't get food envy where your friend has chosen the better
Yes.
dish than you have, because
Yes.
you're all getting the same and you're getting a different one every 5 minutes.
Yes,
so it's
exactly.
fantastic.
I know, I love it. And it just sounds incredible having, what was it, the mushrooms made of strawberries.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
And smoke and all sorts. Of be an incredible experience.
Well, as you know, it's the end of cruise month, so we'll kick straight to something about planes. And you've got a
Okay.
nice little story there.
I do have a nice little story for us. So the Boeing 747 is nearly 50 years old and many have already been retired worldwide, and United Airlines are flying their last jumbo flight next week. They are offering their loyal customers a chance to take home a piece of this historic aeroplane. To send the 747 off in style, frequent flyers can use their miles to buy fixtures, furniture and electronics and more from the United fleet. The airline has 9 remaining 747 aircraft. That's not very many. The auction kicked off with a number of fixed price items. Livery panels priced at 80,000 miles and iconic airplane windows 50,000 miles. Both from a plane that flew almost 100,000 hours over 26 years have already sold out. 747 fans in need of new living room furniture can still purchase a double or triple passenger row seat, 275,000 and 250,000 miles respectively, though no guarantees about how comfortable they will be. As part of the countdown to the last 747 flight on November 7, Bid Now items will be rolled out over the next few weeks. Those include various measurement devices like an airspeed indicator, cutouts from the plane's aluminium body and more. According to the website, profits from the auction will be donated to Air Camp, a program that works with elementary and middle school children to teach leadership and academics through aviation education. That's
There you go.
really cool. Imagine having a row of airline seats in your living room.
I have seen it.
That sounds pretty cool. Yeah.
Sounds like a student flat thing, doesn't it?
Wow, I can imagine as quite a cool art piece in the room, you know.
But for those who will mourn the loss of the 747, you don't have to worry because Boeing still produce them. They have a 747-8i, and airlines like Lufthansa and Korean Airlines actually fly them into Auckland over the summer. They're brand new, so they'll be around for another 30 years. So
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
still see them.
Yeah. I don't know about any of the viewers, but I never know what you're talking about when you say these numbers and letters. Doesn't mean anything.
That's why we have you on the show, Olivia, just to balance
I mean, maybe some of the viewers can sympathise with me. But anyway.
Well, luckily, a number of our viewers are plane and ship spotters, so they do appreciate the numbers.
I'm sure they do.
They do. Well, it's time for us to go. Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
and
no
we'll see you
worries.
again soon.
Okay.
Until next time, bon
Bon
voyage.
voyage.